Hi, I'm Mark from Sun City Tri. In our club, if you've been asking about how you set up for race day, for me it's a lot about how you take the stress out of race day by setting up properly. So I've got a race coming up on Saturday, today's Tuesday, so I would say about now is the right time to start maybe having a look at your bike. I've put the wheels on that I would like to race. Yeah, obviously a bit of wind and that thing might have to come off. But a few things to check at this time of the week. Just check that your brakes work. Yeah, you don't want to be racing without them. And you might get somebody checking them on race day anyway. I would also have a look at just making sure that your bits and bobs are kind of just like, you know, tight and things that obviously give your bike a little bit of a ride out too. But more importantly, when we're talking about racing, set your bike up slightly differently for different races. If you just come in, you can kind of say, hey, the last race that I did was quite a long distance race, so I took my spare tyre on there. I took my tools in there in case I needed them. But for a relatively short race that I've got on Saturday, I wouldn't bother taking these. One of the reasons why I wouldn't bother taking that with us is that it kind of prevents us from getting on my bike quickly, and it's only a standard distance race. So I'll be taking these off for a start. So I've took that off, ready for race day. Now what I usually do is just make sure that my gears are working, because like I say, changing wheels and stuff like that, like it's never quite the same. If you come in and have a look, your gears should be working like this. So when you change down, it's nice and fast and snappy. Nine times out of ten, if your gears aren't working properly, they're kind of jumping around and stuff, usually you just need to turn this little barrel at the back. But if you have a look on YouTube and find out how to work your gears, you really will save an absolute fortune from taking it to a bike shop and paying like people 15 quid to turn like one nut. Also make sure that the front's working as well. Just make sure that, yeah, when you change down, it does go into your little gear. You change up, it goes into your big one, and that the chain doesn't come off. Really important, yeah. It's only a case of setting these two screws so that that doesn't move too far that way, it doesn't move too far that way, and if you've got them right, your chain won't come off. Yeah. So as long as that's all moving properly, you should be able to take your bike for a spin, make any slight more adjustments to it and stuff. But yeah, your gears need to be moving silky smooth for race day. Right, like I say, still a few days out. I usually pack up my wetsuit and things like that, just so that I know that it's there, and once it's in the bag you don't need to go back to it. Another great way to kind of do this type of checklist is to actually have a checklist. We call it Tommy Beston's checklist, because he did one for everybody and shared it on Facebook. I do prefer to do it this way, just so that I've got it in my head that everything's there, yeah, rather than just ticking a list. So just working down, I think the easiest way for me to do it is I say, right, I've got my cap, obviously goes on the top of my head, goggles next, and the sea drops that prevent them from getting steamed up on race day. Put them in the bag. Earplugs if you use them on race day. Vaseline for the back of my neck, or Body Glide, or whatever you choose to use. And then obviously my wetsuit. I pack my wetsuit inside out. It probably won't happen, but just if it's in the back of the car, and I just tend to think that it's a lot tougher on that side than it is on the other side if your bike lands on it or anything like that. Don't want to split. Anyway, I just say, right, that's now packed. You can just go to one side or in your big kit bag that you're going to take on race day. Swim stuff. Night before the race, like I said, we've got all the stuff packed. I use sea drops just so that my goggles don't demist. Depends on what you're using, just make sure that it's done. They're done now. So go. And that's packed. Right, so Garmin charged. This is the bag that I take actually to my bike in transition, so this is the absolute race essentials. Yeah, so you know you've got your Garmin, you know that it's charged. Bike shoes, running shoes, and running hat. I'll show you tomorrow what I do with the talc and the elastic band. don't get too excited though. It's not that bad. So all here. So bags packed into the big bag. Helmet, obviously give it a quick check, make sure that it hasn't got any huge smears on your visor or your sunglasses or whatever, that everything's working, because you probably won't have a spare helmet when you get there. So there's a few things that you definitely going to need on race day. Race belt, spare race belt, go in there. These are the things that I like to think that I'm never going to need. Apart from this, I always use this just to put little holes in, instead of trying to poke through a number. That goes with my race belt. These things I like to think that I'm not going to need. Yeah, like a little first aid kit, spare nutrition bars, and goodness knows what. I've got loads lying about. However, I'll show you my nutrition in a bit. Bike tools, arm warmers, spare goggles, bike tools and miscellaneous stuff that might save the day, such as tape, zip ties, scissors, screwdriver, spare tyres. I use tubs. Obviously these would be your inner tubes if you're not using tubs, but maybe I'll take a spare tyre as well, just in case anything could happen. And of course a pump. Yeah, you'll probably get a use of a pump, but if you're a guy with a pump, other people could use your pump. That's a lot of pump. One of the things about taking a spare kit as well is you'll have teammates down there, or maybe even a pretty lady that you could lend your stuff to as well, and then you'll be king of the race. I'll just show you my nutrition. So as I said before, the bike's all set up. Bike's all set up. As I said, I've looked at the weather. It's going to be a really windy day, so I took that big fat wheel off the front and put a smaller rim on, so don't get blown all over. I've got a nice little bag for the front of my bike to do longer distance with a couple of gels in, but you can just tape them on your bike as well, no problem. But it's best on the night before so that everything's done, you're all prepared. Just a few last little things. Your race license, if you've got one, just make sure that that's in your wallet, because you're going to need it. If you're anything like me, you'll want to know that your wallet and your car keys are somewhere where you know that they are. I'll probably have a last little check on Facebook, but more importantly, just have a little check of what the weather's going to be like, and also the email that the race usually send you usually gives you a few details just to make sure you know. I've noticed in my details it says bring your own swim cap. I know that I've got one packed, so I know that I'm kind of cool. For some races, you might find that people start to go into absolute fits on Facebook pages if it's a big race and there's loads of people in that group. I did once have people saying that the birds were pinching the gels off the bike, and it sends you into blind panic. So maybe you just turn it off, chill out, have your tea, watch a movie. So nearly bedtime. I just put my clothes out like a good lad as if I was going to school tomorrow, with my hair, and I'll be wearing my tri-suit tomorrow as well. But now, for a good night's sleep, you definitely need your comfy pants on. Oh. Now, this is the bit that lots of people really stress out about. Oh, am I asleep? Am I not asleep? Waking up, racing, thinking, I didn't sleep like a wink last night. How on earth will I get through it? Somebody told me this, said that in actual fact, if you don't sleep the night before you race, you'll be absolutely fine. Your body can manage on that. And ever since he told us that, I've always slept reasonably alright, because I used to be one of those people who didn't sleep before a race. And I think what happens is you worry about not sleeping more than anything else. And if you just don't worry about it and you just think, I'm not bothered whether I sleep or not, actually I think you fall asleep alright. I do, anyway. Night night! Get up nice and early. Plenty of time to sort yourself out. I like to have a nice breakfast, oats, banana, big cup of tea, Plenty of time to get it down and digest. Tri-suit on, nice and simple. Onesie on. Onesie's really good for race day because all you need to do is put one thing on and take one thing off, hence its name, onesie. Couple of bottles, one just to drink on the way down and drink while I'm wandering about, and one just to fill my water bottle up on the bike. So I've made good time. I'm aiming to get down there for probably about a half hour, 1.5 hours before the race actually starts. Only one last thing to do, and that's have the pre-race poo. I will not be videoing that though. You do want to have a poo if you can get it all out in your own house, because the toilets in any triathlon, anybody will tell you, are horrible. So I'm on my way. I'm driving myself this morning, nobody coming down to watch me. Keep a little carb drink just in the car. To be honest, if I'm taking on any more fuel now, I've just had my breakfast. I tend to do it before the race, like as I'm going down, as opposed to right before the race. For me, it takes us a while to digest things and stuff. It's not like Pac-Man's power pills. You didn't just like have a carb drink and go whoa, 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 loads of energy. You know, you need a bit of time to sort of do that. Anyway, we're off. An hour to go, and it's grim. I'm off to get my flipping race number and that. About 30 minutes to the race brief. So you pick up your stuff from registration, and you've got your numbers and stuff. Number on the bike, number on there. Told you about my hole punch. Easy to put little holes in there, you see. Put that on my race belt, and get your chip on your leg. I do this before I start going, take my bike into transition, just get it all ready so you're not faffing about amongst everybody in there. Lighty bands that I told you about earlier. Just a bit tight in the shoes. It's raining really hard, the ground's really soft. I'm not going to bother with the flying mount with my shoes on the bike. I'm just going to run out of my shoes out of T1. It's really windy, horrible. I'm just going to keep it as simple as I possibly can. That's a decision that you're probably going to make on race day. Having a look at the transition, seeing what the conditions are like, making the best choice. Number there, bike facing out. Yourself good with what you're doing? Coming in. Got it out. Coming in again. Good morning, you alright, mate? Good weather for it or what?
Oh, fantastic.
Gonna get wet. There we go, job done. Race complete. It all went well, no flipping hiccups, kit was all there. Nah, nothing to complain about, so it all worked okay. It's been very, very wet and stuff like that, but well prepared. Now just to kind of like wash your kit, maybe spray a bit of WD-40 on the bike. That's it. I hope it's been useful. Hope you've kind of enjoyed it as well. If you want to look at any other sort of stuff, or maybe think about joining a triathlon club, we are Sun City Tri. Here's our web address. Right, thank you.